Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother. Once, the grandmother gave the child a little cap made of red velvet. Because it suited her so well, and she wanted to wear it all the time, she was known as Little Red Riding Hood. The warning one day, her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Riding Hood, here is a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She is sick and weak, and they will do her good. Set out before it gets hot, and when you are going, walk nicely and quietly, and do not run off the path. Or you may fall and break the bottle, and then your grandmother will get nothing. I will take great care," said Little Red Riding Hood to her mother, and gave her hand on it. The Wolf in the Woods. The grandmother lived out in the wood, half a league from the village. Just as Little Red Riding Hood entered the wood, a wolf met her. Little Red Riding Hood did not know what a wicked creature he was, and was not afraid of him. "Good day, Little Red Riding Hood," said he. "Thank you kindly, Wolf. Where are you going so early, Little Red Riding Hood?" "To my grandmother's." "What have you got in your apron?" "Cake and wine. Yesterday was baking day, so poor sick grandmother is to have something good to make her stronger." The wolf thought to himself, "What a tender young creature. She will be better to eat than the old woman. I must act craftily so as to catch both." He walked for a short time by the side of Little Red Riding Hood, and then he said, "See, Little Red Riding Hood, how pretty the flowers are about here. Why do you not look round? I believe, too, that you do not hear how sweetly the little birds are singing." Little Red Riding Hood raised her eyes, and when she saw the sunbeams dancing here and there through the trees, and pretty flowers growing everywhere, she thought, "Suppose I take grandmother a fresh nosegay. That would please her too." And so she ran from the path into the wood to look for flowers. The deception, meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house and knocked at the door. "Who is there?" "Little Red Riding Hood," replied the wolf. "I am bringing cake and wine. Open the door." "Lift the latch," called out the grandmother. "I am too weak and cannot get up." The wolf lifted the latch. The door sprang open, and without saying a word, he went straight to the grandmother's bed and devoured her. Then he put on her clothes, dressed himself in her cap, laid himself in bed, and drew the curtains. The big surprise, Little Red Riding Hood, arrived. She was surprised to find the cottage door standing open, and she had such a strange feeling. She went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with her cap pulled far over her face and looking very strange. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have. The better to hear you with, my child," was the reply. "But grandmother, what big eyes you have. The better to see you with, my dear." "But grandmother, what large hands you have. The better to hug you with." "Oh, but grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have. The better to eat you with." And scarcely had the wolf said this, then with one bound he was out of bed and swallowed up Little Red Riding Hood. The huntsman arrives. When the wolf had appeased his appetite, he lay down again and snored very loudly. A huntsman was just passing the house. He took a pair of scissors and began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf.